I had this horrendous pain in my back. Thought it was indigestion. I don't have it, I've never had indigestion, but thought, oh, maybe that's what that feels like. And then I realized I couldn't breathe very well. So I called my daughter, who's a trauma nurse, and she said, Mum, call 911. She said, I know exactly what's wrong with you. You have to call 911, which is what I did. I ended up in St. Joe's in the ICU, which is where I stayed for 2 or 3 days. Then they transferred me to the cardiac area, stayed there for another couple of days, and I was doing good. I was walking the areas around and feeling great. Going to be discharged the following day. And my daughter came in, and I said, hey, great news, I'm going to be discharged. And she said, I don't think so, Mummy. Oh, why? And she said, because you look ghastly. You look absolutely awful. There's something wrong with the colour of your face. She said, I'm going to insist you have a scan before we leave. Well, she, being quite bossy, got a scan organised. And it was at that point that Dr. came to visit me and said, we're going to do surgery tomorrow.
What Pamela had was what we call a type B aortic dissection. This is a tear in the wall of the aorta. Your aorta is made of 3 layers, and the inner layers of her aorta had basically split, with blood now forcing down in between those layers so that she kind of has a dual lumen aorta, if you will. And this weakens the wall of the aorta and puts people at risk for, over time, in the short period, at risk for rupture and potentially, and in the long-term risk of their aorta slowly enlarging to the point of, again, being at risk for rupture.
There was a tear in the top of the aorta, and there was something at the base of the aorta that she was quite concerned about. She explained that she would put a stent in, and then it would open, it would open a little larger as it got to the aorta. And that's about it. I was so flabbergasted that this is what was going to happen that I don't think I took it in really well until afterwards, what she'd actually done.
When I saw her recently, she is looking wonderful. She's back to normal. She's living independently. She's doing all the activities that she would want to do. She's essentially pain-free, other than maybe an occasional little twinge. And even better, her CT scan looks absolutely fantastic. There's almost no evidence, other than our stent graft, of any dissection. She has a small evidence of one distally, but that has been stable, and so really happy with how she has turned out and how she's doing now.
It was a phenomenal success, and I am indebted to Dr. for life, as I told her the other day. Yeah, it was an amazing situation. I just would recommend her beyond anything. I really would. She's wonderful.